Peace. I'm back. Day 2 of my rehab post-surgery. Doing my walk. I've been fronting a little bit. My little jogs ain't been jogs for real. About a couple minutes and I start walking again. I'm taking it light. I'm being invited to go back to the gym. I used to go to the gym several times a week. So I'm anxious to get back to that. But I don't want to overdo it. I need to heal properly. And I ain't got the big NBA money and staff with me, so I know how to do this myself. I did want to rap to y'all today about, for one, the book I've been reading. David Dita's The Superior Man, The Way of the Superior Man. And it's interesting because I'm in a unique relationship. I'm always in unique relationships, seems like. Very non-traditional. I think it's because of my personality. But they talk about this feminine energy, masculine energy, and how to handle it. They talk about why men cheat. And they point out some things of how natural it is for men to need certain aspects of feminine energy, different types, and how difficult it is for women to be able to provide that to one man as he needs it, and as with the changes and everything. For example, the woman that you need to raise your kids is not always the freak that you need in the bed. It's very difficult for a woman sometimes to pull those, and that's just 2 of 15, to pull those together at the right time to be adequate for a man's needs. And vice versa. Women need help around the house. They need things that they need to, drink a little martini and go out and dance without being sexualized. They need to be ravaged sexually sometimes. So there's different needs. But he points out, especially with the feminine energy and the men, and how to redirect your energy. So you're not out here, if you're happily married. He gave an example, if you're happily married, but you are sexually attracted to your babysitter. And you love your wife, but you're not really sexually attracted to your wife at this point. And you love what she does for you and what she provides in other areas. And you'll be out there and you don't want to mess up your relationship, but you got these inner desires, these inner energies taking over you. His point is, especially if you've committed, his point is to try to redirect those energies. It's kind of a sexual transmutation, as Bob Proctor and Napoleon Hill like to call it. Got me. But for me, and talking to the one in my unique relationship, I'm a believer in polygyny, which is a certain specific aspect of polygamy. I'm not really a fan of the other aspects, even though it may work for some people. But for me, you got to find what fits for you. And for me to dedicate, to make a promise that I'm going to be able to contain my sexual desires and only have sex or only dedicate certain energies to one woman for the rest of my life is a hard promise for me to make. And I could probably pull it off, but it would also, which is also in the book, it also detracts from something else when you do that. You're not being your full you, reaching your full potential, able to pursue your source purpose in life when you're making those type of sacrifices. And statistically it don't work out. Statistically, a lot of these people, and if they don't get divorced, they're not happy, and if they're not happy, they just go along with it. I don't want to be in any of those situations. I need to reach my full potential. I need the person I'm with to reach their full potential and be able to pursue that freely, right? So you got to find your match. You got to know yourself first, and you got to find your match. So for me, polygyny is something that I haven't tried necessarily. Even though my unique relationships, I like to make sure that the person I'm with is free to do what they want. Make sure she's free to do whatever she wants, to be with whoever she wants at any time. She can leave at any time. That's a freedom that I would like to give the person I'm with, because that's a God-given choice. And it's not really my role to change that. God gave that choice for a reason, And at the same time, I'm a people pleaser, or I get pleasure from pleasing. Let's put it like that. So I can't be with somebody. I got on a heavy road right here, but I can't be with somebody who's not fully happy with their situation. And I know people change. 3 years from now, you might do something different. So I'm going to touch on the type of relationship that I'm going to probably end up in. A lot of people have asked me about it, because mine is, for one, I'm African, and I'm deep into African spirituality, and I'm deep into the ancient Africans and the ancient Comedics, and I understand that a lot of the beliefs that they have as far as making sure everybody is free to have their choice. That way when somebody's with me, it's out of pure want. It's not an obligation. It's not honoring a promise that they made years back. It's out of pure, this is what I want to do at this time. So I've learned that. And polygyny has been practiced by my people, by my ancestors, successfully for a long time. We are behind enemy lines. We've adopted a foreign culture. I say that a lot. We follow the Romans when we want to be romantic. I'm not Roman. I'm not from the cold where there's not that many women to pick from. Just like herbs, People from the cold, they They had scarcity in women. They had scarcity in vegetation. So they end up being monogamous, or trying to, and they end up eating a lot of meat just out of survival of the situation. But that became culture to where even now, when it's not necessary, it's popular, you know. Uh, there are benefits and drawbacks to all types. It's not an instant solution to anything or anything like that. But it is an option I think we should consider. Not only just me, but black people in today's society and the community who's been raised on foreign religions and foreign culture and foreign practices. And I say foreign as in not native to who you are, not necessarily out of this country. A lot of things as part of America, most things as part of America is foreign to the descendants of Africa, like me. It's foreign to the Native Americans, that are in this country. So that's what I mean when I say foreign. But I'll start with the drawbacks. A lot of people, you want the good, you want the bad, they want the bad first. And I can dig that. But that we already know. There's things you got to get over. There's sacrifices that got to be made. And some people, it's not that much of a sacrifice. For some, separation makes the heart grow fonder. Especially busy people, if you have goals outside of your relationship that you need to dedicate to. Some people only need to see their spouse a couple days a week, or don't really need to be necessarily intimate, have a separate type of relationship with their spouse. It happens all the time. We just don't notice it. We just don't point it out because we're forced and they're making promises to cover all. It needs to be everything and everybody at all times for you. And, I think that detracts from your inner source purpose. Especially when you find your purpose. I know that's a whole different topic, and I'll talk about that. So there are sacrifices depending on what you like, what you need. A lot of people think, this big thing about cheating. Cheating is not necessarily... Cheating is a misnomer. I think they should change the word or even eliminate it, because it's not the cheating that causes the problem, it's the lying. It's the promising that I won't engage in anything or anyone else, and then you do. It's the lying part. If you be honest up front, and that way they can make their own decision whether they want to partake in that situation or not. Show my antennas again. But they can partake in that or not up front. It's not cheating. If you say okay, and then you do what you have to do, it's not cheating. That's not a problem at that point. So that's why in my relationships there's no cheating. I've only had 2 relationships that didn't work out, but it wasn't because of infidelity, because it was sourced on honesty, especially in that area. I either did what I said I was going to do, pretty much, and I was honest up front, so you can choose to participate or not, And the Black Conscious Movement thing, it opened some eyes. But it's not even that. There's religious people with multiple wives. To me, the Bible is the biggest supporter of polygyny, as far as a book or religion is concerned. But the oxymoron is those are the most people against it. People who follow the Bible and of those religions. Just because it's rooted in a foreign practice, in a foreign culture. You know, the Bible and the monotheistic religions are actually rooted from Africa. So it has a lot of those things, and once it's been stolen and misinterpreted by foreigners, they result in a cognitive dissonance. You know, basically following a religion that says one thing and deciding to do something different, and somehow mingling that together. You know, so it's become taboo, among other things, especially African things. You know, Yoruba, voodoo, a lot of concepts that come from where from African descendants are taboo here behind enemy lines and on stolen land, right? So people have to open their minds up to that. You know, if you're still a devout Christian, you know, you're still a devout modern Christian, you're still going to church, you're still following a lot of the cultural followings. It's my man, he bet not cheat, you don't need anybody else, we need to see each other every day, every night, you need to be the mother, the teacher, the psychiatrist, you know, you got to be everything to everybody, or everything to the person you with. Back up a little bit. But it don't work out. It doesn't make sense on a historical, statistical level. The numbers don't add up. The divorce rate's ridiculous. And if you add it to people who are unhappy, it's this monogamy thing is a falsity for a lot of us, right? And there's a lot of, along with the negative taboo context, they add a lot of stuff like you got to be bisexual as a woman, or your man is a hoe and can't control himself. Things of that nature, which none of those have to be true necessarily. Those things come from fighting your natural poly energies and trying to make it monotheistic, or not monotheistic, but monogamistic, if that's a word, right? So that's where that comes from. Let me go down this way. But let me not make this too long. But the benefits, once you get over certain things like jealousy, see, jealousy is an inner feeling that you can, I won't say control, but you can expect. And once you expect it and understand yourself, it's not necessarily even a bad thing. You just know when and know how to handle it. You know, the jealousy comes in after somebody promised a certain way. It's back to the line and the dishonesty in monogamy, but that comes with that, the jealousy deal. You know, and the women not able to deal with women. I don't get along with women and stuff like that. That's a cultural thing. That's something you were raised on. That's not understanding and not understanding yourself truly. Because women energies, those same chicks got besties. Got a whole crew of besties and had besties for life. And they go out, they leave their man at home and go dance. They've been through several relationships where the man is either not doing enough for her on the feminine energy side. He's not in touch with his feminine side enough, right? Or they end up getting some guy who's undercover gay or something because they have an affinity with, they need that type of feminine energy that they don't get from a regular masculine man. A lot of their best friends are gay, you know, or gay men, you know. So it's something that's natural for a woman. You'll see women, you know, they'll help each other try on bras. They'll feel each other's breasts when you get implants, or, you know, checking for each other's lumps and things of that nature. Not even on a sexual level, just on a feminine energy level, right? Things that men is instantly called completely gay if they do anything like that. And that represents, it's starting to show you how nature's like and how nature says things should be. And we got to start, at least I got to start tapping into that. You know, I am part of nature. And so I have to tap into my natural animalistic self. That'll take you back to Kemet for real. So, in a more practical sense, for me, I am starting to get in touch more with or starting to understand the feminine energies more. And the more I understand it, the more I realize how much women need it, how much I need to be able to not only understand it, but to balance it. You know, I want the person I'm with to be happy. Not necessarily all the time, not necessarily happy. Being happy, finding happiness doesn't mean you can't be sad and can't be mad at times. Like I said, that's in the book too, about the weather. There's no bad and good weather. It's just weather, and it's ever changing. And that's how the feminine energy is of the universe. You just gotta go through it. And as a man, you maintain your masculine. And so, anyway, there's times when your woman shows her masculine side. That's a lot of times when relationships don't work out. When they trust their own masculine more than you. When they trust their solid thinking, their radical decision making more than you. Now it's almost like two men, you know? But in my situation, I want to give the freedom for my woman to embrace her masculine side without negatively affecting our relationship, right? If that's what she needs. I want her to be able to have her time and have her storms in whatever situation she needs to be in, you know? If she yearns to go shopping and gossip or whatever, and that's not really in me, you know, enough, I want her to have that opportunity. Not with just any, you know how you do random men, have sex with random men? You don't want to interact with random women. And just like they dodge random men, women dodge women. They dodge randoms, just on a social level, you know? So I think a lot of these besties are rooted in nature saying you should have a sister wife. You know, it's outside of sex, it all makes sense. But it's the sexual part of the culture that throws it askew for a lot of people, you know. And then it doesn't work by itself, at least not for me anyway either. You need to be able to have, not necessarily financially stable, because I'm not really big on the man should financially support the women. I think family is business, and I think that works hand in hand. You know, when you look at family as business and love is law, you know, check out Brother Polite, check out Shahrazad Ali, and some others. You know, your relationship should be a business. It should be ran like a business. It should have a goal in the end. You should be able to function on a day-to-day basis. So, you know, I would like in a polygyny situation, I would like us all to be in a similar field, working toward a similar goal, having a joint business maybe, you know. And that allows you to free up time, free up money, because it's all about freedom for real. It's not about money. I would hate to be rich and have to work 15-hour days. It's not rich. Rich is your freedom. These people out here, they living on the bridge, they're making sacrifices intentionally for freedom, which I understand. I'm not even mad at them, because that's where their freedom is. That's where their peace is, not just in the money. And even when you make the money, you don't want the money. It took me a while to learn this too. You know, I had $500,000 at one point. I ain't gonna get into that. It wasn't legal. But what are you gonna do with the money is what you really need to focus on, is what you really need to understand. A lot of times what you need doesn't cost that much. And you chasing money, or a lot of times what you need, you ain't already made enough money for. You don't really notice it because you're focusing on the money instead of the inner need beyond that. See, for me, I was chasing money to get free. I found out. I wanted to travel. I wanted to be able to the ability, the choice, the freedom to wake up and sleep in at any point in time. Not that I necessarily needed to do it, but it's the freedom. Freedom to travel when you want. The freedom to design and schedule your life the way you want. And polygyny is going to help a lot of people do that, because once you're in monogamy, like I say, they call it a ball and chain, all them type of terms, they come about for a reason. Just in random terms. They come about for a reason, because that's how it is most of the time. It's just another shackle on you. You know? And if you get around the sexual part, if you find your inner source and realize you don't need to be with the same person every single night, under the same arm every single night, because you have your own purpose in life individually, then you can start to open your eyes a little bit and see the other benefits, like freedom, triple income, money, the ability to homeschool. See, I specialize in history and science, you know. I would have to learn how to sew before I can teach my kids to sew. I have to learn how to do certain things before I can teach my kids, and you pull back from your focuses and your specialty. So in a polygamous relationship where you having multiple adults teaching multiple kids, right? That's a great benefit. It's going to improve your kids' education. It's going to improve your financial situation. A lot of these things that it helps is specifically helpful for the black community. It's going to pull you out of this Roman culture. It's going to pull you out of the need to be under somebody's wing every day. It's going to uh, it's going to remove a lot of the dishonesty and the cheating and the inner fighting back and forth to fall for somebody else or do this and mess up this. A lot of this misunderstandings and dishonesty that comes with a lot of relationships. So there are things you got to get over, but once you get over it, and I say get over it meaning just an inner understanding of yourself and others,